Blocked down, puck still alive, kicked out, and they score! It's Bennett with the power play goal to tie it.
Watch Bennett right here. A shove into the goaltender, and then the goal right there.
The pond fitter reviewed and determined there was no goaltender interference on the play. We have a good goal.
Yes. It wouldn't be the NHL playoffs without fan bases losing their mind and legitimately believing the league is rigged. It's been a wild second round of the NHL playoffs, so let's cover all the strategies, storylines, and conspiracies so far in round 2. The Boston Bruins versus the Florida Panthers. There is a legitimate hate in this series, and it stems all the way back from last year when Florida upset Boston to kick off their magical run. That bad blood has spilt over, and it's changing the dynamic of this series. In Game 3, Marchand threw a hit on Sam Bennett, and it looked at the time that he just got the worst end of it, as he would miss the remainder of the game. Then the hockey world got to see the other angle, and it appeared as though Bennett catches him with a subtle right hook to the face. Bruins coach says it's on purpose, Panthers coach says it's accidental. It's all mind games, and that would set up a massive Game 4. With Marchand still being out due to concussion protocol, Sam Bennett has undoubtedly become public enemy number 1 in Boston. Emotionally heading into Game 4, these two teams were at each other's throats, while tactically, Florida has certainly dominated. Both teams' offenses heavily rely on their ability to get in on the forecheck and cause hell. In the Game 1 win for the Bruins, their aggressiveness on the forecheck gave the Panthers problems, but in Games 2 to 4, it's the Panthers who've been causing havoc. In every game of this series, Boston has been outshot by at least 10, and it's because of Florida's ability to extend plays with their pressure once they create a turnover. The Panthers play a 1-2-2 set forecheck like most teams, but they do it better than most because their entire lineup is built for the dump and chase game. Boston has had a lot of trouble in this series trying to beat the F1 of Florida, and before they can move the puck or dump it out entirely, Florida's F1 has already separated the puck from the defender or guided them right into the trap that is waiting for a turnover. Despite a strong start from Boston in Game 4, it's the puck pursuit of the Panthers that allowed them to grab this bounce and then cut the lead to 1. Then, we got the controversial power play goal that has Bruins fans spun and the rest of us confused. Sam Bennett pots one on the doorstep, but let's look at how he gets so wide open. As the puck gets thrown into the crease, Bennett gives Coyle a cross-check. Coyle falls on top of Swayman, and Bennett is there sitting pretty to bang home the rebound to continue being the most hated man in Boston. The Bruins challenge for goaltender interference. Refs take a look, and they decide that the goal stands. Now, the NHL issued a statement after this game, but the explanation states that the shove, which also could have technically been a cross-check, did not prevent Swayman from playing his position in the crease prior to the goal. Now, like I've said in the past, I have no clue what is or isn't goalie interference, and I'm not even sure the NHL knows itself. However, if Coyle was not cross-checked, he could have been there to clear the puck, as Montgomery pointed out in the post-game presser. Bruins fans are absolutely livid. Hockey fans in general are confused because no one knows the exact rule, but at the end, the goal counts and Boston needs to find a way to refocus. Shortly after, McAvoy takes an aggressive step on Tarasenko to try and force a possession change, and considering the help he has with numbers, it's not a horrible decision. Unfortunately, the puck takes a weird bounce off of the skate of a Bruin player, it goes out to Barkov, and this animal just uses his entire frame to take the middle of the ice and bury on Swayman. That would be the game winner, and Boston fans are left beside themselves. You got some fans screaming the entire league is rigged, you got others taking a more balanced approach, but the truth is that the Bruins are simply not generating enough chances to win hockey games. The Panthers' 1-1-3 system in the neutral zone is stifling any chance that Boston has off the rush, and unlike the Bruins in their own end, Florida has done a relatively good job at beating Boston's F1 on the forecheck to avoid long wins of extended possession. Moving forward, if Boston can't find a way to stretch out Florida on the transition or create any turnovers on the forecheck, we may very well be watching them shake hands after Game 5. The Rangers versus the Hurricanes. It looked like the Rangers were going to get through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs undefeated, but a late goal on the power play in Game 4 by Carolina kept this series alive for at least one more game. With the Rangers being up 3-1, the story without a doubt has been special teams. They are winning the battle by a landslide, outscoring the Hurricanes 5-0 with 4 power play goals and 1 shorthanded goal. This is all while Carolina's number 2 ranked regular season power play entered Game 4 at 0 for 15 in the series. On the power play, the Rangers personnel is doing a tremendous job at beating the pressure of Carolina's penalty killers. The Rangers have found success by making plays into the middle before the Hurricanes killers can arrive with pressure. As for the Rangers penalty kill, they play a box that has the close winger give pressure to the puck carrier when it's on their side. The Rangers have been dangerous at creating shorthanded chances with this, and it's already led to a goal in this series, but the ultimate difference has been goaltending. Your best penalty killer needs to be your goaltender, and Shesterkin has come up big time. When you play a box structure like the Rangers do, sending a puck down low can stretch out that box for an opportunity to open a cross-seam pass on the ice. The Hurricanes have had some great looks, but Shesterkin has been the difference so far. Carolina, on the other hand, have not had a game in this series where their goalies have posted anything above a .900 save percentage. That was until Game 5, where Fred X stopped 20 out of 21 shots to keep Carolina alive in this series. If the Canes want to do the impossible, even strength play is where they can do the most damage. In Game 5, the lone goal for the Rangers was scored shorthanded, while the Hurricanes scored 3 straight goals at even strength in the third to shock the Rangers and force Game 6. It's clear that the Hurricanes have the advantage when 5-on-5, and with this win, Carolina has officially planted the seed of doubt in the Rangers. If the Hurricanes stay disciplined, we could truly see something special. The Oilers versus the Canucks. Now, I'll link our breakdowns to Games 1 and 2 in our description, but this series is about to kick into another gear. In Game 3, both teams scored twice on the power play, but the difference was the transition play of Vancouver when 5-on-5. The Oilers have carried the play for the most part, but when Vancouver sees Edmonton trying to change or being over-aggressive on their forecheck, they've had their wingers blow the zone to receive a stretch pass and create a rush chance. Both zone entries have led directly to a goal, and it's a tiny detail in Vancouver's game that have given them the offensive advantage. As for a net, Artur Silovs has to be in the middle of his Tom Brady arc, because if you look at the similarities, it's hard to argue. In all seriousness, he's been incredible for the Canucks, and he stopped 42 shots in Game 3. The Oilers hit a few posts in this one, and that prompted Leon Draisaitl to say posts is not good goaltending, but you gotta recognize that if you hit the post as a shooter, it means you missed. So if it ain't good goaltending, it ain't good shooting either. When they asked Silovs about the big save he made on Draisaitl in the third, this guy responded with which one. Cheeky response. Now, if you're an Oilers fan, there's a couple things that you should be concerned about. First is the over-reliance on McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman. Despite them carrying the play, they're the only ones generating offense for the Oilers right now. Because of that, they feel the need to stack Draisaitl and McDavid on the same line, and that same problem that sinks them every year starts to show itself once again. A lack of depth scoring is simply just not going to do it in the playoffs. Not to mention, these guys are playing 29 hard minutes a night eating cross-checks. That's just not a sustainable recipe if you want to have a long and deep playoff run. Not to mention, Vancouver is purposely trying to make life a living hell on McDavid. After starting this scrum with a slash, McDavid gets folded like an omelet with 2 cross-checks from Zadorov and Soucy. First one into the back, and the next one right into the chops on the way down. That's a visit to the dentist for McDavid, and Soucy gets a call from player safety as he gets suspended 1 game for that cross-check. We'll likely see a response to that in Game 4, but with both power plays being lethal, if one team gets too caught up in revenge or trying to get payback, it can be the deciding factor in this series. Now, the other problem is goaltending. Stuart Skinner was pulled in Game 3, and he's allowed the most goals on low-quality shots in these playoffs so far. 12 goals allowed in the first 3 games is just not going to cut it. And if the Oilers want any shot at winning this series, they need better goaltending from Skinner. The Stars versus the Avs. This series is a Stanley Cup final in the second round, and it's one that seems like no lead could be safe. In Game 1, the Stars had a 3-goal lead, blew it, and then lost in OT. They almost did the same thing in Game 2 with a 4-goal lead, but they were able to get an empty netter to avoid complete disaster. But in Games 3 and 4, they have significantly slowed down the Avs offense. Looking at the numbers, the Avs' expected goals, scoring chances, rush chances, and cycle chances are all down from round 1. The Avs' bread and butter comes when they have speed through the neutral zone, and their mobile defense core can join up on the play and create offense. They scored their lone goal in Game 3 as Taves activated off the rush, gained the zone, and stopped up to find McKinnon to tie the game. That being said, Dallas has done one thing incredibly well in this series, and that's getting Colorado to chase the game. So far, Dallas has scored the first goal of every game, and aside from winning Game 1 in OT, the Avs haven't held the lead once in this series. They were playing on Dallas's terms, and in Game 3, the Stars were able to slow down the Avs' rush play by staying patient and above the puck. They held the Avs' high-powered offense to 1 goal because they frequently had layers in the neutral zone to force the Avs to give up possession. And when you're constantly playing from behind like the Avs are, you're forced to take risks to maintain pressure. This not only opens up potential rush opportunities for Dallas, but it also gets an offensive juggernaut like the Avs to play way more defense than they'd like to. Wyatt Johnston has a huge Game 4, getting 2 goals in this one, and even passed up his first career playoff hattie on the empty net to send it over to Sam Steele for the for sure goal. What a beauty this kid is. He is a star in the making for Dallas by having 11 career playoff goals before even turning 21 years old. The Avs are officially on the brink, and if they don't find a way to play with the lead, they are in big trouble of packing their shit and booking the flights to Cabo. So, what do you think of round 2 of the playoffs so far? Who do you think looks the most dangerous? What pissed you off? Let us know in the comments down below, and if you want to see some of our other breakdowns, click on any of the links right here, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications.